Oh, what's going on, everybody? Just give me a second. I'm still getting set up. I'm doing good. How are you, Loans? Appreciate you asking. Have a good day in the market today, man. All right, I'm good to go. All right, so yeah, man, Friday night. We've had a pretty crazy week in the markets. Lost some key levels. I'm gonna start talking about the SPY. I mean, a lot of this is based off the Fed, right? What happened with the Fed? Talk about some Micron. There was a Micron move that we could be watching. But let's talk about SPY first. ES. So the big level to hold, we lost. We lost that 67.30 definitively. We back tested, and I mean, I was looking for a short up there. I did take a short. Didn't ride it all the way down, but I got out. And initially, I was like, "This is the next level." I said, "We're coming down to 6,500." I mean, it was just the next logical place for it to go. But this is a weekly low. So what am I expecting here? I actually end up caught a little bit of a long down here. But yeah, I expect a little bit of a reaction. So maybe this is the time where we come back up, squeeze a little bit, take back some of that liquidity, and then maybe continue down. I don't think it hits it on the first move, but we're going to see what happens over the weekend. If there's any big news, any big events overseas, announcements by Trump, it may change all that. Maybe this thing just breaks down completely. I don't fear and panic, but a lot of times, if I'm being honest, like just watching markets and stuff, like these are the times you get the best moves because everyone's freaking out, and there's probably a lot of trap traders here thinking they were going to get this short all the way down. But yeah, let's talk about this trade real quick. Then we'll go talk about some other things happening in the market. And yeah, so look, man, we were coming down into into support. This is that level we talked about, and when we got that initial wick down, I actually didn't catch it, but when it started to reclaim, like right here, I jumped into the long. So I'm long from like right when it reclaimed that weekly level. That's to me an SFP, See that wick on the 1 hour? That's a good look, like for at least a little bit of a bounce. So I think its next challenge is does it break this trend, I've got a little bit of a downtrend kind of starting right there. So like, is it going to get the break when the week opens, or is it going to be one of those things that we just roll over? So we're getting to an interesting level. Plus you have resistance right here. So it's an interesting area. If we can break this, I think we get a nice little pop up and we do some back testing of some larger trends on S&P, which is up here realistically. Close to maybe 67, 67.20. I could see this coming back and doing a quick back test before another move down, just something like this. Boom. Smack down, But look, bullish case, if it breaks up and gets back above the 67.20, it's been the same case, go attack the range high. So I think for now a little bit more bearish, but at least it's postured bearish. So I'd play a little more heavy towards the short side. Not financial advice, y'all. Just kind of guy talking on TikTok. NFA. By the way, my name is Eddie. I'm a trader at Tactical Edge Trading. Check us out, tacticaledgetraders.com. Free courses. We give you information for free. We're not going to charge you for a course or a subscription like that. We do have different tiers, but that's a little bit for more people who are advanced and kind of like figured out they want to make trading like a part of their future. But, if you're also following or not following, subscribe, hit that like. You do the channel a favor by pushing us out to viewers. Also, you'll get notifications to go live 6 days a week. It's been me this week. I pretty much every single night. So I've been cooking though, man. I've been getting out some good plays. We've taken some of these trades. I posted them in Discord, and they've been hitting. So we've been right on. I've been right on the money like most of the week. I think I got maybe one call like half off on oil, but it also didn't break a level, so like the trade never actually triggered. But anyways, enough of my shilling. Nasdaq, same scenario, man. Nasdaq, look at that sweep. That's a beautiful SFP. Like that was the level, right? We said it was going to come down to that 24,000 if it lost this range, right? The bullish scenario was break it and get back above, but look, this has always been support. So it did a nice sweep, took all the lows and closed back above. So that tells me we might get a short-term bounce, or there's a potential of a short-term bounce, just like with S&P. Unless it doesn't, like, look, if you're looking for a bounce, maybe up to this trend, back up to 64 to 750 would be a nice area to watch. Maybe a little higher, maybe a little bit lower, But realistically, if it just does something like this and just rolls over, then yeah, we got to revisit. It's short. Look for lower. Like, price can come back up, retest, and that's when I would probably go look for a nice swing short down to this eventually 22,500, 22,400. That'd be the play for the Qs. We could go look at River USDT. Let's go look at some silver. I do want to talk about silver. Dude, I swear I fucking drew this shit out. What did I say? Look at the freaking narration. I haven't looked at silver in like a week. I drew this out a while back. Look, I was like, it's coming down here. Like, this is a bear flag. It's breaking down. So, and look, it lost the level it needed to lose. It did backtest, but like not on the 4 hours, more of a 1 hour backtest right here. And look how it breaks a level, it backtests, right? And then it breaks down further. So like remember that pattern when you're in a trend, because you're going to see it over and over, and it's a really easy entry model for like your like short-term traders. Like, not a swing trade, but like you take a trade on the hourly or 4 hourly, you can hold it for a day, maybe 2 days sometimes. Those are nice plays to catch. So look, ultimately silver, I think, is going to come take this low at 64. But look, if it loses that low, I mean, it's $54. I've been saying that for a while, that this is going to be the target. I mean, I drew it out. Like, it's coming down, but this is probably going to be some support when we get down here. It's a weekly level. It's a pretty big support, right? So we got to see how price reacts when we get there. We front ran it, so I still think this is going to actually come back down here and test it. But yeah, it's 54. I mean, to the upside, look, resistance is now here. It's shifted. There's your 4 hour high. So like 4 hour structure's down. You got a trend kind of running, like just steady down, right? So like any bounces, man, you watch this trend, you can watch that 4 hour level at 74 on silver. Pump and dump. Yeah, dude. I literally have this fucking post in the Discord. So I'm saying, guys, if you're not in, join the Discord, tacticalhedgetraders.com. You go through the website, you can check out the free courses. Tons of stuff in there, like teach you how to be a trader. And then you can also join the Discord. It's a big button at the top. It's free. You just got to verify with some captcha bots or whatever. And yeah, dude, I post setups all the time. Like, it's not like, hey, enter here, because we're not a signals group, but like trade ideas, big levels to watch, patterns we're looking for, like, and it's there. I definitely throw it out there, and a bunch of other traders, including not myself, but Ben, Nick. There's a bunch of other guys in the Discord, other members who are throwing out charts, and it's like free information. So check us out. Also, like, subscribe, follow. But are you eating silver? I don't know, man. I'm not in it, dude. I didn't take the trade. You can only trade so many different things. I'll show you what I'm in a minute. I'm in a SPY long and a BTC long. But I'm going to go look at Riverside real quick. Or River USDT. JBL. What is JBL? Jabil? Oh, man. So, look. Old TA, right? But I'm just going to give you, like, the rundown. It's been trending up, right? Clear as day from, like, November. We said, hey, there's a chance that it comes down here. If it reclaims this inverse head and shoulders, which is kind of pretty much what played out, that, there's a chance for a bounce. And this is the target, right? And what did we do? We bounced. We hit the measured move. And it was pretty much almost up to that target there. I mean, damn near close. I mean, look at that. That's the measured move. Simple TA, but we knew this was resistance. So we were either going to get a test of it, a break, or it was going to fade. And like it ended up fading. So it just shows you the downward pressure's there. But you're holding trends still, even though you wicked everybody out that went long here. That's crazy that they did that with that wick. Oh, let me get rid of all this shit. But yeah, sorry, I'm getting distracted by TikTok. They're telling me to increase my volume. Hopefully you guys can hear me. So yeah, look, that was the play, right? So now you're waiting. You're waiting to see what happens here because look, on the 4 hour, technically this is a market structure break or market structure shift. You had a high, you had a swing low, essentially, a lower high, and then you broke it, right? You didn't get a closure on the 4 hour there, but it's still lower and it broke. So now it's got to prove itself to go back to the upside, in my opinion. So maybe it's just ranging for now, but it's got to prove itself. So I'd be more hesitant to long here than to probably take a short or just wait for this thing to break down. Because usually when you get these lower highs like this, you see how this is chopping back in. You got that bearish engulfing on the daily. Here, I'll get rid of all the TA so you can see what I'm talking about. Just that bearish engulfing is not a good look, and it is bear flagging out. In the grand scheme of things, this is what the pattern is. And what are we seeing across all the markets right now and everything? We just looked at it in silver, right? Things are basically putting those macro lower highs high, and then you're bear flagging out, and that's the structure for the next move down. It means we're getting ready for another move down. I think the S&P breaking down from that level was major. So I think the markets are on meltdown mode. And look, let's look at the pattern. I mean, if you want to draw this trend up, it's a little choppy, but like you're pretty much fading this trend at the end of the day. I was being gracious by putting it here, but like if you really want to like play it, like you could say it already broke down. Like it's already lost structure. So I mean, downside's more favorable right now, I'd say. And I guarantee there's bearish divs. Yeah, there are on the daily. It's probably on the weekly as well. Yeah. So like right here, you see, I can draw that. See how like momentum is shifting down technically on the weekly from this swing high to this swing high. So it's starting to div. It's divvying out, man. It looks like it's cooked for now a little bit. But you know, how do you prove that wrong? Well, you come and take the high out. That's it. You got to take the high out at 281. So that's the way you prove if you're still bullish or not. But yeah, hopefully that wasn't too brutal. I wasn't trying to like bash on it, but it definitely looks more bearish, man. River USDT. Yeah, I can look at that. What's up, Great Omega? Can you teach me? I can teach you, dude. Join the Discord, brother. TacticalEdgeTraders.com. Start there. We got a bunch of free courses. They'll teach you everything you need to know to start getting started in the markets. And join the Discord and from that website. And the links are in the bio and the description. So yeah, and like I said, you can join in the Discord, and you know we got a bunch of traders, not just myself, man. We do have educational stuff. We have a whole learning library. Some of the stuff's mine in there. I talk about divergence and like my step method of getting into trades and stuff. But yeah, it's really at the end of the day, it's just a big group of traders, man, and we all take it serious. We're trying to. A lot of us are full time or converting to full time or on their way to becoming like a full time trader. Like a lot of people here, that's the goal. And we have some investors and we have some you know more casual people who just want to be part of the group. They enjoy this kind of stuff. They like TA. But you know, it's more the first thing I talked about, like serious traders. I'm gonna go look at this on so River. I have to look at it on MEXC because MEXC tends to have older data. We're not using volume right now. Otherwise, I'd probably be on Binance if it's even on Binance. I can talk a lot about crypto, guys. I know a lot about this shit. So look, man. Like you topped out. This was the top. This was the breakdown, the confirmation that like the trend is done, right? So take that back and just look at it for what it is right now. This was a major resistance. Like you needed to break this level, right? And maybe you do. You had a little bit of a bullish pattern starting to form here. And we said if it does break, maybe you do get a pop up. And we just talked about a head and shoulders playing out. So these things do work. So maybe you do get a pop up to 39. But really the key was to hold this high. So right now you're kind of struggling to do that. So what you want to see is price get back above. You swept this low here, right? Which maybe that was what it was going for, right? Maybe that was the target. But you don't want to start doing this. If you start to fade this resistance, it's probably going to come fill this wick, because that's it. That right there to me looks like unfinished business. The market would want to come back for that at some point, and then probably seek liquidity lower at that point if it does take this wick. So it all stems at this $22 level, man. If it can get back above, flip, you might have a shot. Otherwise, it's not looking great. And another thing you don't want to see is this scenario play out too. Because what is it starting to look like? It's starting to look like a distribution pattern, which is, if it does something like that, you know this thing is probably going to come down hard. So watch out for that. So even if you do get a short-term bounce, look out for the lower high. Be like on alert almost. Because this is starting to look exhausted. Like it was pumping and then it's starting to curve. You see what I mean? So it's losing momentum. So just be on the lookout for that kind of stuff. But otherwise, look, if it can hold and show some strength, then maybe you do get that pop up to 39. Otherwise, you lose this level and I think you're coming back down to about $10. Would be a 6 short though. Maybe a little premature. Maybe it does run up. Could you assume what's going to happen on Monday? Free trading for a while or unpredictable? It's hard to tell what's going to happen on Monday. See, the question is when the volume comes back into the market on a Monday, like after New York opens, really, like Asia and London open, but really it's New York that brings the real money back in. They dictate which direction it's going to go. It's not anybody over the weekend. It's not sometimes even what the TA says. I mean, sure, the long term may be right, but like they have the power to move it enough that like if you try to take a trade over the weekend and expect to like ride through Monday volatility, you might get screwed. Especially if you're a leverage trader, like a futures trader, or even options if you do like some option stuff over the weekend. But I mean, that's just my opinion on that. Some people play swing trades and they'll take a trade and they'll run it up for a while. Me personally, like I play like 4-hour swing trades right now on like SPY because I like to play major levels. I play weekly levels, and right now I'm in a Bitcoin long, and I'm long from like right down here. Those are like my 2 trades. I'm long from right here because it was a key area. I was like, it's gonna either hold this or not. And I had 2 points of confluence that this was a low. One, it held the 618 golden pocket, right? It even wicked down to the 786. But what I really loved about it was this. It took this liquidity and closed back above, right? You see this right here? I'm going to show you what this line is, but look. It took that liquidity on the 4-hour and closed back above and put in another candle, confirming that this SFP'd right there. That's a swing failure pattern. They just came down and swept this low. And now they're like trying to make either one could be a lower high, but either way, I knew there was going to be a pop. So either it's a lower high that gets formed, which tells us that we're going to either do this and come back down and attack this low and potentially come back down to this low. So that's one move I'm thinking could happen, but I'm in the camp that I think we're going to come attack this high. That's just my thinking now. Because it's an SFP, normally when you sweep liquidity in one direction, you go to the opposite side to grab liquidity. On the 4-hour, the last time I checked, it's up at 71.2. So that's my thinking on that one. But we're up against resistance, so it could flip. Like this thing could also come all the way back down and retest this level right here, and still be bullish and continue up. So I'm prepared for that as well because I'm in from a really good level. I'm in from like down here. So when it back tested, I saw this pattern. You guys are gonna laugh at me because I do this all the time. But look, it's like this is a rounded bottom right here. This is actually a bottoming thing. It's but really it looked a little bit like this. It was like almost like a accumulation pattern. You had the low, the sweep, and then you had the higher low, and then you had like a neckline essentially. And when it broke this, I was like, oh shit, this is actually a legit move. Because normally when you see like a high like that taken, right, and they come back down, test support, and then you start to see it climb like this, that's usually right before about to rip. That's like a Wyckoff thing. If you guys ever pay attention to Wyckoff distribution and all that stuff, his theory, like it's really like legit. You can actually spot bottoms on different time frames and tops. But that's enough of my fucking nerd talk, guys. Um, you could tell I really get into this shit, right? Um, so liquidity sweep, yeah, dudes, liquidity sweeps are legit, man. They're fucking awesome. So that was the question about assuming it's gonna happen on a Monday. What's your opinion on the VIX? Yeah, let's go look at the VIX, dude. That's a good one. Hell yeah. Let's talk about some macro shit. All right, I got a big opinion on this one. I actually like in the Discord, like we talk about a lot of different like macro signals and things to watch to kind of piece together how the markets move, or to at least get a clue of how it moves. And VIX was like one of my earlier suggestions. Like, yo, we got to start watching the VIX because it fucking makes sense. It just fucking makes sense. Like, I'm gonna give you a little bit of schooling on what the VIX is, and then I'm gonna talk about why, like, you need to pay attention. So look, all the VIX is, it's a volatility metric of the S&P. When this thing is above 22, that's usually higher volatility than like this is stable when it's moving sideways down here in this chop. That's that's when you're in the market and the markets are usually going up. Typically, when this thing spikes up and the volatility rises, it indicates large moves and tip mostly to the downside. So look, I'm going to mark off some things here. What happened in 2020? All right, I'm going to go, let's just use the last three. And I'm going to tell you what each one of these dates are, okay? And the last one, okay, so when we spiked up here to 80, this was COVID. What happened to COVID? The markets dumped. It was one of the bigger lows. It was one of the best buying opportunities you could ever have. What happened here in 2024? In July, August. That was the yen carry trade. Japan raised their interest rates and the markets basically had to rebalance. So big money borrow from Japan because it's cheap. They convert the yen into the dollar and they invest in the stock market. People had to unwind that. So that meant big companies having to rebalance and, like we're talking about big money and they have to offload from the market. So they have to sell the stocks. And that's why we saw everything dump out the way it did. And it caused panic and fear. That was a black swan event. But if you knew what the VIX was telling you, the VIX was spiking like that. And you also could piece together, like if you were watching that kind of stuff, which some of us were in the Discord, we were talking about it. But like, it caught a lot of people off guard because it's not a common thing. But there's ways to spot it. Here, that's what we just talked about anyway. And right here, this was the tariff. During the tariff, like when Trump went on a fucking rampage and the markets reacted, we had a big dump. So normally when you get above this 20 level, you got to be careful because any of these pumps could mean a big move in the market. So look, if it holds above this, there's a chance that this thing starts to run up and starts to break, and then who knows how high it goes. But that's going to correlate with the S&P dumping pretty hard. And that means all markets. Every single date you see here, see this right here? That correlates to the COVID low. Look at the markets when they dumped, right? This was tariffs. This back here, and where was it at? It was right here, this wick. See this right here? This wasn't too big of one, but this was that whatchamacallit, the yen carry trade. We dumped pretty hard. I mean, it was a significant dump for people in the market. It was a 9% drop, 10% drop in like a span of a weekend. Like, it was insane. If you were in the markets, like, you got crushed, like, overnight. But yeah, I mean, everything else went to shit. Crypto went to shit. Like, it was bad. So pay attention to the VIX. That was great. And right now, like, it looks like it's poised upside. So I'd be careful. Yeah, I'll go look at Riven. Give me a second. Let me just Silver, Riverside. I did all that. Sorry if I'm missing tickers. A lot of people in chat, which I appreciate people hanging out on a Friday night, man. I know it's not everybody, you know. This is a unique set of people who are chilling on a Friday watching the charts. You know, it's true passion right there. If you have people, we looked at the Qs. I'll look at it again, but let me look at some new stocks. Yeah, you got to catch me early. That's why you should subscribe and follow, because if you get early in, you'll see what my earlier charts are. Usually I start with SPY, the Qs. We went over silver. Haven't talked about oil yet, and then we got kind of just drift off from there. But I try to get the the basic overview in the beginning. So yeah, like, follow, subscribe. You'll get notifications. You'll catch the beginning part, kind of get my little macro oversight. Or you can go watch on YouTube. It's recorded. This thing's making a little bit of a pop, but look, I don't know whoever asked for this. This thing's been beat to shit. Like, when you got to do this and you got to scroll up to like 13, like, if you're breaking your neck to see the charts, man, it's probably something it's probably dead at this point. So if it does pop, sure, maybe you get a little bit of a pity rally, or like, a pump so like somebody can offload some shares. I mean, your best bet is maybe you make it up here, in my opinion. Hold on. I'm not trying to shit talk on it. I'm just being realistic. Like, this is probably where it heads to if it does get a nice little pop. So maybe you get back up to $14, but like, if I'm looking at it right now on the daily, you are getting a little flaggy, right? But you're up against resistance. So see that? That was the old range. Get acceptance back into the range, and look, magic. It goes right up there. Just saying, that's usually how it plays out if it does break back into the range. Otherwise, it's going to reject, and it's going to continue to do what it's been doing. Boom. So that's what I would see on that one, UVIX. This is the VIX long, yeah. Dude, I think there is like a fucking derivative of the VIX that you can trade. I'd probably go long on it if I could. I know that's like weird to some people, but it is kind of funny. Like, sometimes I can hit on those like offset indicators, like USDT dominance. I can tell you when it's going up or down, like almost like with pinpoint precision. But I wish I could trade it. I guess the only way to trade it is just to trade Bitcoin, and inversely. This is funny. SLV, I could do SLV. Have you seen the UK top 100 companies index? Nah, I haven't looked at that. What's the ticker? Toss it in. I'll look at it. I put my trades today, green on 1500 and Q. Yeah, dude, I was telling the chat a little bit ago. I'm long on SPY from the lows today. It was a nice little trade. I'm hoping it opens up green on Monday. I'm kind of sitting in a bad position. Well, I'm sitting in the profits right now, and that wasn't a big position, but sitting in profits. I think it's going to go a little higher. It's a swing trade, so it's got a little breathing room. I think it just pops back up to 6,700. I'm looking to target like offloading around 6,600 and then probably 6,700. I'll try to get the other half out if we get up there. But if it starts to look bearish, I'm out of it. Thoughts on Tesla, Amazon? Damn, dude. Can't pick one? Like power of three, yeah. I agree. Why are you in Bitcoin long? I'm in a Bitcoin long for a couple of reasons. It could be a bear flag, in which case, fuck it, it is. And I'll just get stopped out at break even because I'm already in the profits. But here's my thinking here, right? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I get it, like this wick back here. We can ultimately argue that this is a bear flag, right? We can argue this. Because I think this is a bear flag. All right? But there's an internal trend, right? And we're putting in a little bit of a higher low. Does it mean it doesn't come back down? I was saying the trade was simple for me. I was like, we swept liquidity. All right, I'll explain why. We swept liquidity here. All right? If you go to the 4-hour, it makes sense. See what I mean? We SFP'd this last 4-hour like 2-candle expression. And then we close back above with a bullish candle. My expectation at this point, this could be a higher low. It's not confirmed yet until it breaks this high at 71, but I think it's coming back up to maybe test that. When I'm wrong is when this low here gets breached. So if it loses 69,700, that's when I'm wrong. I even said it could come all the way back down to here and I'd feel comfortable still, because I'm in from this back test, literally in from like this back test right here. Because I was watching on some fucking stupid low time frame, like right here on the 5. See this trend? I got in on one of the back tests of the trend and I just ran it up. So I'm in profits. My stop's just under break even. I'm willing to take a little bit of a loss on it. I had a really good week, so But I'm honestly, if it gets too choppy, I'll probably just cut it. So, but yeah, that's the answer to your question, man. I don't know why I went into that so much, because your content is great. So we're following you on a Friday evening. I appreciate that. Hemnath, I don't even know. I'm not gonna try to say your name. You guys gotta get simple like names, just so I can like give you guys like legit shout outs and shit. Otherwise, it's just gonna like try to like mispronounce your name, and I'm gonna feel like an asshole. Excuse my language. Somebody asked for Tesla. All right, so Tesla's in a precarious spot, isn't it? All right, man. I said don't lose this level, or we're coming down to this level, and we're on our way there, right? So this is just not looking strong. So I expect a bounce here, though. I just like something tells me after you put in a new low, right? When you've taken a low, you usually get a bounce somewhere to put in that lower high. And we've been pretty much down with Tesla. So I think maybe there's a little pity rally coming soon. So maybe it does test this level. Maybe it tests a little bit lower, and then we get a little bit of a pop back up to maybe test up some of these levels. Maybe that's 406. Because like in the end of the day, like I would want to see a confirmation. If I'm looking at this on a higher time frame on Tesla, now this is just theory. Like, don't go fucking taking trades on this shit. But look, if I was just looking at it like this, it's in a higher time frame trend. We could come back down to this trend and still be bullish on like a monthly. Like it's not bearish really. It's still poised bullishly. So like back tests are healthy. So if like we did pull back, like don't be freaked out if we come all the way back down to this 210. Like it could 100% come back down here. And that would be a great buying place. Like in my opinion, I'd be loading up here. I'll look at gold next. Like I would love to buy some fucking Tesla at 200. Thank you. And guess what it's doing at the end of the day? It's very simple. Like fucking this shit's like these patterns, you don't have to be smart. You don't have to know any of this shit. Just got to like pay attention and learn the charts and learn about these, like why they work. They're just probability at the end of the day. But look, you're in a giant upwards channel. So you're just going to make your way, like essentially this is a bullish trend for now, right? And look, maybe like some black swan event happens and it makes its way all the way back down. But I just don't think that's, taking out some of those crazy lows. I don't think so. It's just, look, we took some liquidity up here, right? We slept the high. A lot of times you don't break it on the first try. Like you're going to come back down and, maybe make another attempt at it. So like this would be not a bad area to load up. But that's not financial advice, guys. I keep saying load up. Don't listen to me. But anyway, in the short term, like, dude, it's going to be down till it's not. This is probably a good level to watch for a bounce, right? This is just what I think. Maybe it bounces here at this like 355, 350 level. It's just a psychological level too. And who knows? Maybe it's just a back test. Maybe you just bounce back up here to back test this little breakdown at 386. Maybe you do get a bigger back test. Maybe you get that back test all the way up here. This is the one I would like was a little bit more important for me. Like this right here could make sense too. Like up to 411. I mean, realistically, it's just a weekly break of structure, right? It could come all the way down here and theoretically come all the way back up and still put in a lower high and go down. I just don't know if that's I don't know if that's super probable, but hey, there's always the chance. I just think you just wait till you hit support and see how it reacts. And for now, just stay, don't long it. It's probably not good for your health. Sorry. Best strategy for Bitcoin in your opinion? Talk to Ben. What's up, Kush? You got to talk to Ben. Ben's got the best strategy for Bitcoin. I'm going to give him that one. It's just to play sweeps, brother. Just play SFPs, man. What you do, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you the cheat code. If you don't know how to do any of the things I'm talking about right now, then I would highly suggest go to tacticaledgetraders.com, go to the free courses, and it'll explain it. You mark your daily, your weekly levels. You can mark your session levels before New York, like a half hour before. Map out your levels. Where London high is, Asia high, London low, Asia low. See if they line up with any daily levels. If they do, fantastic. If they line up with a weekly, even better. If they line up with a 4-hour, yeah, it's not a bad level. It's like, it's got some confluence, but it's not as like, juicy as like a daily, right? If you got VWAP around a level, if you have, and we're talking about 15-minute session VWAP, or if you have like some type of trend that just happens to be at that level, or some horizontal support or resistance, like I'm telling you, like that's the level to watch. You mark those levels out and you just wait for price to get there. And guess what? All you do is wait for it to do this stupid little thing it does. It just goes up. I'm going to show you a perfect example of here on Tesla. This is resistance, right? You can see this is a daily high. See this little high right here? It's a tiny little high, but it was right there. That was a high. Price came and it swept the low. So there's an SFP of the low. They grab the liquidity and they run it up. And they do the same thing on the top. They grab the liquidity, they close below, and they run it down. That is pretty much what you play on Bitcoin on like an hourly level. Like you're watching the hourly, but you're looking for those higher time frame levels, and you're looking for those confluences, daily levels, session levels, and you're looking for the sweep of the liquidity. There's a little bit more to it, and we can teach you that stuff. I don't want to go too much into it, but that's pretty much the best strategy I've seen for Bitcoin. So it's the most profitable, at least. Does this apply to stocks? 100%. 100%. But Ben's trading Qs. I don't know. He's trading He's trading hymns for a bit. That was weird. Fucking, I get it though, right? It works on gold. It works on silver. Sorry, guys. My headset fell out. I'm struggling right now. My headset fell out. I got music in the background. But no, it works on everything. You just have to watch the asset. Every asset has a personality. Different traders, they move different with different volatility, different markets backing different things. So like go back test a little bit on a chart and then check out and see like, does it actually have a lot of sweeps? Also pay attention to the session. You're not going to see sweeps as much during Asia session, during your Tokyo, Hong Kong hours when those markets are open versus in New York or London where they have a little bit more, they have a little bit more volatility, a little bit more money running into the market, so they can go grab that liquidity because bigger players enter during those sweeps. There's a reason behind it too. It actually makes a lot of sense. But you can learn all this stuff at Tactical Edge Traders if you guys want to check us out. Join the Discord. We talk about this stuff. We literally have events like weekly, and we talk about this shit. Educate yourself on this stuff, and you can be a lot even if you're not trying to be a full-time trader, you can just be more profitable, like maybe make some right buys and investments, on like a higher time frame, and then play the long game smart. Learn when markets are starting to turn down and when it's time to de-risk a little bit out of the markets. Some people in the group do that. Also, like, subscribe, and follow. You'll get notifications I go live. What are my thoughts on Bitcoin today? Some guy tried real hard to keep it. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's fighting. If it's gonna put in a higher low, it's gonna do it here. I called this yesterday in the Discord. I said, watch, I think Bitcoin's trying to I think we have a local low here. Right here, I was like this. And what did I say? It was basically this. Inverse head and shoulder. I said that could be a local low. So normally when you see a reversal pattern like that, you're looking for that higher low to form. What tells me that we're not done yet, right, is where it stopped. It stopped at 71.3. It never took any of this. Like, I feel like this is all left, like, just unfinished business on Bitcoin. Like, maybe we don't attack this gap, right? Maybe we don't go up that high, but this, I feel like before we go down, we're going to sweep that. Maybe we come up and do something, even if we were going to get bearish, maybe we do that and then get a bigger move down. And in a bullish scenario, right? And I'm not saying this is what it is. In the bullish scenario, this is just a higher low. Maybe we get a higher low here, and then maybe we attack this high. But I don't know if I'm going to hold. I'm not holding for that long. So, anyway. Yeah, I could check out Boeing. That's a good one. Oh, shit. Is a short of VIX, so you want... Oh, okay. That's awesome. I didn't know that, bro. You're over. I have a fib projecting us at. I 100% agree with you, dude. I'll show you in a minute the more macro view I have drawn out and why I believe it's going down. But like, yeah, I have 52, I think, or lower actually. But look, Boeing, we're just in this pattern right here. We're in a symmetrical triangle, right? And it's going to just chop between this until it picks a direction. Now, I'll give you this. It's probably not the good news. Symmetrical triangles usually, they say, have a higher tendency to break in the direction they entered. So we entered from after a move down. I don't know if this means that's going to break down. These things are really, like, honestly, they're hard to trade. I don't trade them for a reason. So I just respect these things as, like, this is support until it's not support, this trend. And this is going to be resistance until it's not resistance. But right now, we've put in a higher high, and now we're breaking down from this trend, which we drew out a while back. We were watching it. We're saying that this is like a trend into resistance and look for the breakdown. So the target here for me is, look, if it's going to be bullish, it's got to hold above this low at 179, right? If you want to shop back up. Otherwise, it's coming back down to test the lows of the trend. It's either going to, it's got to hold above 170, 179, 175 around this zone. It's this low right here. Otherwise, this low's, we're going to come see what happens at this trend. And if we break the trend, then you start to, all this liquidity down here, this low, and this low all become targets. So keep that in mind. And if we do break to the upside, the opposite happens. This becomes a target, this becomes a target. And if you break, then, this becomes the target. Maybe here, but just play level to level for like when you're moving in big moves like that. I don't get too ahead of myself. I got out at 240. Good for you, man. We're overall bearish. Yeah, I agree. I can check NSFT. Yeah, let's go look at some Microsoft. I can tell you why Microsoft. You guys want to hear why I hate Microsoft? So I play a lot. I play Xbox. I've had Xbox since I was fucking in college when I was, like fucking 15 years ago. No, like 12, 15 years ago, something like that. Anyway, dude, it is going on a fucking downhill spiral, Microsoft, and like they just don't give a shit. Like my account was getting hacked apparently. I had no fucking clue. My Microsoft account, just like if your normal login where you have like some billing information and shit. Yeah, some important stuff, my fucking credit cards. And it was getting hacked and I was getting no alerts, and it was by different countries at different times. I went and looked at the logs because you can actually go look at your login attempts, and I saw that was like going on for months, and just like someone was trying to do a password, trying to like basically crack through with different passwords and just like trying to brute force through, and a fucking software company didn't catch it. Like how how is that company going to survive? And they actually hacked my account. That was the worst part. I didn't get notified until it was hacked because I got a credit card charge. Like, what the fuck? I didn't buy this shit. And then I'm like, oh, great. Fucking Microsoft got hacked. I had to tell them that their cybersecurity fucking sucks, and their people should go, like, I don't know, whatever. I said some mean shit to them. That's all I'm going to say. And I said, that's why your stock is fucking coming down. Dude, I said some fucked up things, man. It was mean. It's not fun. But this like happened back in this time over here. And guess what? It went out on the news that they had a data leak. It wasn't a data leak. Like it was like there's like cybersecurity. Like I said, is non-existence. There's no existence there. They probably have IT dudes running it who don't give a shit and got better things to do. And like at the end of the day, it's like, I think they had like a big ass breach, and it was like, they tried to cover it up, but I'm like 90% sure it was the actual like the users like informations, like account informations and stuff that got hacked. And it was hacked, and they just said it was a data breach, like, or a data leak. Like they use those words, data leak. They're just saying like somebody actually got that stuff. Like that's what happened. They didn't want to make it sound like it's not as bad. Like, like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Like, they try to like make war seem like it's not a huge thing. Same stuff. But it's funny. So look, man, you're losing trend here on Microsoft. Like, I was so happy I said all what I said to them. Anyway, I think this is the target, man. You're looking down at 345. Unless by a miracle you can reclaim this. If you can reclaim it, maybe you start tackling these highs that I have drawn out. But look, man, like this looks like failed support. You got that initial bounce and it just got swept, right? Like look on the daily, like it just didn't hold. And that's the rollover situation you talk about. So like this low's has been lost, or it's lost. So it took it. They closed just below it. So I'd be looking for this thing to probably mark down at some point. Maybe you get some back tests, but then I think you're probably coming down to this 347. And then ultimately, I think if it can't hold there, then, maybe it's the full sweep. Maybe they come back down, take this low at 312. Maybe they come back down, take this low at 220. Like I could see all that being possible, because ultimately it's been in an uptrend for a while. And when you lose a trend, like the liquidity that started that trend, like that low or that high, depending which direction, that's a target at the end of the day. It can be a target. Like if I'm trading on the 15-minute, this pattern, this is where I'd be like my last TP. Like I would take profits along the way, but ultimately I'd be looking for this. Especially if I was like a buyer too, I'd be looking down here to buy up. So I'd be watching this $200 level, man. This thing's not looking great, but it could realistically, it could bounce here and run back up. It has to lose this low at 347, but I think it is coming down to 347 first. If this happens, then the next step, some type of scenario. Yeah, what's up, Ben? Free courses in the bio. He's absolutely right. Way bears all those course sellers selling them for 6,000. Dude, I'm serious. Those course sellers. Let me give you an example. Without saying names, there's a community out there on YouTube, and they pay $100 a month for this YouTube influencer, and he's a good YouTuber. Like I give him that one. Like he's entertaining, but he's not a real trader. He isn't. His TA is trash. He doesn't really teach anything. He has like a system with EMAs and stuff like that. It's very basic. And I'm saying that it's not bad, but I don't hear many people talking about how they're successful in there. I feel like they sell, like they give you something, but they don't give it all of it to you, type of scenarios. And like people pay $100 a month to this guy, and he sells courses inside of it. Like you have to be inside of his group, you have to pay money to be there. And I think on top of that, like to get like actual courses, you have to pay on top of it. Like then people shill this money out and they never learn anything. Like that's the problem. And then like you have signals groups, or you have those real fake gurus that'll try to sell you like a fucking $1,000, $2,000, like Ben was saying, $6,000 sometimes dollar course, saying they're gonna turn you into a profitable trader, and like they end up bullshitting you, man. Like it's, oh my god, dude, do not spam Solana. If you do that, I'm definitely not looking at it. We just talked about that. Didn't I just tell you yesterday, if I went into your fucking store and just started yelling something, whatever your job is, like yelling a command in your face like 12 times, do you think you would want to like even look at me? Probably not. I mean, I appreciate you guys being here, but that's kind of like just, nah. I'm not going to entertain that shit, man. Brother, Bitcoin is bear flag. It's going to 50K soon. Dude, I agree with you, man. I'm not disagreeing. I've never said I disagreed. I literally said, I was like, it may pop up, and it's probably coming down. This is the pattern. This is the target, right? This has always been my theory. I've literally been saying this for like forever. It's all over the Discord. We come up here, and we do the same thing we've been doing the entire time. It's not rocket science. I mean, just got to fucking believe in it. But it takes time, man. You spend more time. Look, I'm going to give you the truth here. When you're in a big downtrend, you're in a bear market, you spend more time actually going up than you do going down. The moves happen quick, just like in a fucking bull market. Look, most of the bull market, what do? We chop sideways and down, and then when we actually pumped, it ran hard. That's crypto, dude. That's how it moves. So, like, you're going to be in these choppy zones for a while, so you better get used to scalping or playing the low-time swings. Because if you just keep saying it's going to go down, at the end of the day, yeah, you're right, but you can get stopped out fucking a million times before it does. That's all I'm saying. So, like, yeah, my theory is that, yeah, I do think it's going to come down, but doesn't necessarily mean it has to come down now. It is still structure-wise, it's in a bear flag, but we could realistically come up here and test this trend, which is what I almost expect, because it would catch a lot of people off guard and would get people really, really bullish again. And, like, that's usually when we go down. Right now, everybody's bearish AF, bro. People are really bearish. They were bullish for, like, a week, and now people are scared again. So, like, that's usually when people are scared. That's usually when you get those nice little pops. So, that's what I'm thinking, too, man. Like, a recovery week, bro. I think we're going to get a little pump. I don't know where it'll go, but I think we get a retest. You know, we don't just go in straight lines down. Just like we don't go in straight lines up. But yeah, I agree with you, man. You're 100% right. We are going down. And look, here's the reality of it, guys. And then I'll go back and look at some things. What have we done? See this little bear flag? Look at this. It's almost the same length. You can literally just kind of like, this is how markets move. You can literally just take these lines and we move in waves. And usually if you follow any Elliott waves or rules of three, whatever the fuck people want to call it, this is typically how the markets move. You can go look in last bear market, did the same shit. Crypto's a cheat code. You just have to know how to read it. Look, dump, bear flag, dump, bear flag, dump, bear flag. But if you took the measured move, it's all the same. Like from here to here, from there to there. This last part was a little bit exaggerated. I'll be honest with you. Like that one, like was more of like a sideways chopping down. But like we're in that right now. We're in that stage right now. So like if we have one more leg down, like my target's fucking down here, man. It's pretty low. I'll say it's, this is realistically, probably like around here. I'll go to the weekly. It'd probably be down here, like somewhere maybe in the like the mid 40s to 50s. Like this low is a target, but could we like Bitcoin always goes a little bit lower than everybody expects. So it would be crazy if it did get down to that 40K. My guess is between 40 and 50K is where I would start to looking to like, this is a good price to buy. Not calling the low though. Like that's, get what I'm saying there? Like if I'm going to buy there, I'm buying knowing that it could go lower, but that's a good area where I would like to start to dip my toes and start to buy. If it's better time, if it's better, like it would be nice to like, if it's in like Q3, close to Q4, closer to that October time, that 1 year, magical 1 year of Bitcoin's bear market, that would be even better. If it happened in May, like April, I'd be a little hesitant. I'd probably think maybe it's not the bottom, but maybe it would be. I think the bottom usually gets put in like a year out from the high, just about. I appreciate that Apex trade. Now is he not at 100 hearts? What did the hearts do? I did look at Netflix, dude. I looked at Netflix a little bit ago. I got to go look at some other stuff. I feel like I've been harping on my own shit for too long. Oracle let's go look at Oracle. Oracle's a big company. Oh, we gotta go look at Micron. I gotta go talk shit about Micron. I got some learnings to show you guys about how earnings could be played. I talk about this thing about pumping, sell buy the rumor, sell the news, and it's a legitimate thing. So let me get rid of this trend real quick. So realistically, look. I got so much TA on this one. I want to do this fresh, but I want to keep that one line up. So our weekly levels, all right, important low at 118. We have what I would call an undercarriage, which is like it's not the weekly high, but it's like the last support we were at before we dumped. And then essentially you would have this weekly high here at 206. So like let's call it 187 at 206. Those are your weekly levels. I'm going to be honest, it don't look great. You look like you're bear flagging out. So you're front running that level and you are in a bear flag, right? Let's just call it what it is. So does it mean it's going to break down now? Maybe not. There's always the chance that it does this. And these like little trends, maybe you get that push up. Maybe you continue to do this until it either gets up into some type of resistance. This is also a level right there. Grab some liquidity and then you see the dump. A lot of times when you get a bear flag, and this is just my experience, you can back test this on some assets, right? It's not always, but Oftentimes you will see a bear flag will end like this, with some extremely fast move that gets everybody off guard, and then it dumps. It never like perfectly breaks down from a bear flag. Sometimes they do. Like weaker ones will do that. They won't even make it back up to the top to retest. They'll just break down from like a midway, like lower high. But sometimes you get those impulsive moves up right before a strong move down. Those are those juicy ones, especially if you get at it like a good level. So that would be nice to see something like that. But otherwise, it's postured bearishly. So if it starts to crack this, man, it's, you know, down to this level at 118. Otherwise, if it continues the uptrend that it's in right now, my expectation is maybe up to 187, up to 206. It could get up there. And those would be nice, juicy areas to probably look to see if, you know, you get a nice sweep or you get a nice lower high, you know, potential rejection. That would be an interesting area. But that's Oracle. Damn, 49 people watching, 50 people. That's awesome. On a Friday night, I honestly, like, makes me feel good about my life because I thought I was just, for a while, before I joined that, actually before I joined this group that I'm in, I thought I was by myself doing this shit. I thought I was just committed to the game and, like, everybody else was just, like, maybe I was the weird one. But then I realized there's a lot of people like-minded, and they're out there. And we're just one group, but you guys could check us out, tacticaleducators.com. We have free courses. We don't sell like any, we're not trying to sell you a course on trading. We'll give you the knowledge for free, and then you could check out the Discord. It's in the website. You can click a link, go get captured, not captured. You got to do a verification, some CAPTCHA thing to make sure you're not a bot. And then you can join in, hang out with a bunch of us for free, and like I said, see what we're about. A bunch of like-minded individuals who trade and study the markets and all things. And we talk about fundamentals too. We're not just straight technical. Like, we trade off the technicals, but we're very aware of big events when they're happening, things like that, that can move markets. We were on top of the oil thing before oil broke out. I have charts in the Discord to prove that. Before it went up to 120, back when it was down like sub 80. I was like, this thing's going to go. And the tensions were starting to rise a little bit after, and the news started to like make sense. I'm like, yep, it's about to happen. Like, the charts show it. And then we were able to piece together what was happening, and we were like, all right, well, we're up against resistance. If this breaks, some shit happens over the weekend, we know this is a real breakout. But look, you're in a trend, right? On BAF, whatever this is. You're getting a little reaction off this trend line, which you need to see, I guess, here on a lower time frame. I can't even chart this on anything else, to be honest with you, dude. Like, whatever's happening right now, this is like some type of rising thing. So I just want you to see, like, you're bouncing down there, right? So if you get a bounce, the expectation is to continue with the uptrend until this breaks down. If this breaks, then you're coming back down to probably take this liquidity here at 157, maybe lower. That's really, realistically, that's the next support. So I was like locked in on that 15 minute for way too long, and then I caught myself like, what am I doing? This is alive. Like, I can't, like, looking at it like I'm like really analyzing. So that's really the big level down here, man. Down this 150 if you lose this trend. But it's still trending up, so continue to watch it. The next major support, or resistance rather, you didn't sweep just yet. You front ran it, and I hate when I see this. It drives me nuts as a trader. Like, when they get right there, but they didn't take it. It's like, it almost makes me think that was like just traders taking profit, and then they're coming back for this, because I would like almost think that after this move, they would at least grab some of this before they bring it back down, right? I mean, you got some liquidity up here at 412. When I say liquidity, it's just highs or lows on the high, like on a time frame that haven't been swept yet. So like, they haven't grabbed people's stops. There's maybe some orders there. Like these are places, like these extremes are usually where traders like tend to put their stop losses. So if they're coming up, and let's say this is a short squeeze because it's been chopping down for a while, and it looks like they're squeezing out shorts. This would be a target 376, and then potentially up to that 411, 412 if it continues up. Those are the next two levels. That's your downside level. So yeah, I appreciate that, Kush. Everyone is selling hard. Yeah, they are, dude. I think there's going to be a relief rally next week, Ben. I'm not 100% sure. You can never be 100% sure, but I got an inkling that we're going to get a little pop before another move down. Just fuel back up for the shorts. Because I caught I caught a nasty short on S&P, and I got a good long on it. I'll show you the long. Look how sick this is. Hold on. So my levels are simple here, right? That was the range we lost. That was where we were headed. So weekly level. So when we first tapped it, I was like, all right, if it can reclaim, I'm in. And I went down to a lower time frame. Look at the hourly. Look at that SFP. I got in right there at like 6,500, almost even, as it reclaimed. So I'm up in profit right now. I don't know how it's going to open, though, man. I'm like, it might be a mistake, but we'll find out. It's definitely a weekly level, so I got to take a crack at it. But, you know, you wait for a while for those levels to get hit, man. Like, I've been talking about this shit for weeks. You don't even know, man. I've been saying 6,500, 6,500. I was like, it's going down there eventually. Like, this shit ain't healthy. This bearish divs. I mean, for the longest, I talked about this pattern here on S&P, and this is just to back up what Ben's saying. Like, we're in a bearish environment right now. We're in a bear market. People don't realize it yet, but like this thing just runs up. Like, take a trend and run it up all these highs, and look, like, you know, you're in like a giant. It's fucking crazy, but like you're in this giant channel, and it's been doing this for a long time. I've been like, I put the whole Discord on alert on this like months ago, back in like fall of last year. I was talking about this. I was like, yo, we're right up against it, man. Like, if this thing actually is hitting a high right now, which it's very close to it, I was like, we could roll over. And like the bear divs were coming in, like the momentum was shifting, like it's there. There were so many clues saying that this thing was going to come down. And look, what does it do? It does the same shit. You know, when you put in a new high and it rolls over, what does it do? Right? It comes back and it at least puts in a higher low, or back tests in a lot of cases. Like here, we back test it, right? Like there's a lot of instances of this. And right now that level for me is down here. It's down at 6150. That's the first level. If it really wants to go deeper than that, it could be one of those scenarios where we come all the way back down to this trend. Like, this is the scenario we're in right now. Ben's 100% right. Like, we could do something like that. That would scare the shit out of people, wouldn't it? You got nothing but bad news. I said positive stuff half the time. I was like, this thing's going up. This thing could go up. This could catch a bounce. I did say a lot of positive stuff. What are you talking about, Kay? Get out of here. I'm not a bear. I'm like the most optimistic person when it comes to the markets. The minute like I see a bounce, I'm like, I'm going long. Green, baby. Like, trust me. I love to be bullish. Fucking Ben hates me because Ben's a fucking negative. He's a negative Nancy over there. He's like always looking for that fucking short. Secretly, I know he swears he's not biased, but he hates crypto so bad. So he's always looking for like that short on Bitcoin. It's funny shit. But yeah, dude, like, I mean, when it's bearish, I'm bearish, dude. Like, you just gotta like put that shit aside sometimes. You want things to go up, but I said we're at support and I'm long. I literally just said I was long. It's not bad news. I think we're gonna pop a little bit. I just don't think it's gonna be a significant pop. I think it's gonna be like a, you know, maybe a little back test, and then we just boom, pop one of those, do one of those babies. And if it does run all the way up, so who cares? Like, it could do that. It could run all the way back up and then still come back down. But it's looking weak, and it's got that rounded top. And every time you get those rounded tops, it looks like distribution to me. Weekly shifts, daily shifts, like it's not good. But enough harping on why I'm so bearish. Jeez. I got gold. I'll go look at some gold. You want me to be bullish here, guys? I can try. I'm done with you guys. Let me go back to gold and just hit my keyboard. I can try to be bullish right now, but it's going to be really fucking hard. And I said it was coming down here too. I fucking said that the other day. I told you guys, I was like, look, man, this shit broke. It was stupid simple. This trade was in the Discord, by the way. Like 100% through this in the Discord, and like no one can deny that one. I said, yo, we're losing trend. Back test here is not looking too great. That's the target. That's been the target. If we put in a lower high here, that's the target. And could it go lower? Maybe. So it is what it is, man. So you want to say trends don't work? This is fucking proof for you. It's been doing it all night. And look, I'm gonna put another thing to fucking bed. Somebody said this before, and it pissed me off once. They're like, "Yo, all you talk about is head and shoulders." Yeah, because it fucking works, man. Look, shoulder, head, and right shoulders. And I love when they happen during a trend break because you got a trend, and you put that high in, and then you get that trend break, that structure, break a structure right there, and then you get that back test that lines up and makes that perfect head and shoulders. It's like, what more do you need to go short there? Like, what more do you need? I don't need too much else. Maybe an entry, and you could have had 2 entries on this thing. I want to show you right here. I'm gonna learn y'all a little bit, teach y'all a little bit. So look, we broke trend, straight up. Look, break trend. Let me get rid of some of this shit. Sorry, I'm yelling at myself now, not you guys. I get passionate sometimes. So look, you broke, you put in a high there, right? When you came back up here, this was your cue to go short. If you were a sweep trader, if you're a breakout trader, your cue to go short. I mean, I guess not a breakout trader, but like if you were like a breakdown backtest trader like I am, this was your cue. You took the liquidity here, and guess what you did? You gained acceptance back below. That's it. You had nothing else to do. It was a lower high. This was initially a lower high and a breakdown of that trend. This was a sweep of liquidity, which tells you that if they're sweeping in this direction, that means they're coming back down. And it may be like, these are the best moves to get into because they usually run the hardest. Because you got trap traders here, breakout traders. And look, this was your back test entry. So there was an entry model for most people except for the breakout traders. They kind of got screwed here. And they always do, by the way. But look, and then your next clue was, like, if you lost this low, like, it's probably coming down. Like we said, it, there's not much really holding us up here. It was that 51.50, and like, look, we chopped around forever up here, and then we back tested it as confluence, and now we're running down. So, I mean, the charts are simple. You just don't make it complicated. But like, look, it hits this level, then you look for a reaction. That would be my next guess. Like, I wouldn't be looking for a long anything shy of that right there. That's a 4-hour, that's a daily, and that's a weekly level. You get what I'm saying? So, like, that's a good level to watch. And then a little bit lower than that, if it does decide to roll over a little harder, would probably be that level right below, around 42,740. It's a daily, weekly level. Obviously, it's probably a 4-hour level. So those are the 2 lows I'd be watching to the downside to see what happens. And then, like, maybe you do get a little bit of a bounce. I don't think gold's done. Like, if I'm being honest with you, like, let's just look at it in perspective, right? I know I'm talking shit like it's super bearish, but it's really not. Like, look at this thing. It's just been straight up. Yeah, at some point, you're going to get a pullback. You're going to get a big low. But, like, look at that on the weekly. This may be a weekly candle, but this is not a swing low. The weekly low is back down here at, like, 3,800. So it could theoretically come all the way back down. As long as it doesn't lose that low, I mean, it still remains bullishly postured on the macro. I mean, on the daily's not looking great because you got structure shifts already. But like the weekly, the higher time frames are still poised up. So it could come back up, or it could just range around for a while. Right now, I think what you're looking for is a range to be established, and we're just not there yet. If it's going to distribute, it's going to take time. It's not going to just happen in a, like, it takes like months for like a breakdown to happen. Like, look, do you see what I mean? Like, they take months to happen. So if it was going to break down, you know, there would be some range that would get established. And that would probably start with this as being the range high. And then we got to wait for that range low. Maybe the range low is here. Maybe it's the last weekly low or the monthly low we put in. You know, it's also the weekly low. Maybe we won't know until we get there, but that's the first place we're going to look. Well, I would look is about that 4,400, and it may be a little bit lower. So, and then what you look for is if you do get a bounce, then you look for confirmation, 4-hour daily market structure shifts to maybe take you back up a little bit. But, you know, I don't think it's bearish. It's short-term bearish, but higher time frames are still looking all right. How long do you think it will take gold to recover? It could take months. I mean, look at previous highs it's put in. Like back here, dude, like September 2011. I mean, this thing didn't really like look, if it breaks down, here's the truth. If it breaks down, it could take months, maybe years to break down. So we don't know. Maybe it takes a while for this thing to like really get going again. Like we could probably wait for a while, but I think in the short term, I don't think it's done. Like it's probably going to see 5,000 again at some point this year. Just don't know when. Like I don't think it's straight down. Even if this is a macro high, I still think you do come back up and put a lower high and make a way down. Like this wick was like a blow off top for sure for a bit. But usually you get a back test. Usually you get a lower high, some distribution. I just think we're seeing a lot of panic in the markets right now, and that's all. But eventually gold will become a flight. The people are perceiving gold as a risk right now. Gold needs to go back to being the safe haven, and it's not the safe haven at the moment because the markets are showing that. It's operating like a risk-on asset. So some people selling gold to cover margin. Yeah, that's 100% right, Mike. Because like even Ben was saying that the other day, and like he's been doing like a lot of research into this stuff recently. He was saying like that's just what the people have to do because like, people are getting fucking blown up right now. People are getting squeezed out. It's rough in the markets right now, man. If you were long and you were trying to you're borrowing off something and you've been holding, you didn't get out, like you're starting to feel the pressure. You're giving back profits or getting squeezed out. And I think people are just taking a little bit of chips off the table because of the uncertainty in the market. Like, be honest, like if you had, let's say, I don't know what's a good amount, but let's say you have like 50% of your money in the market right now. Even if it's in a safe assets like bonds, maybe you put money in some gold and you have it in some S&P and stuff like that, right? Just something simple. And you're thinking in your head like, well, I don't know what's happening right now. Like it's looking a little bit bearish. We're in uncertain times. Obviously, monetary policy is not great. Inflation's looking really bad. I mean, Jerome Powell was shaking. You're probably thinking in your head like, you know what? I don't have to get 100% out of the market, but I should take something out because there may be a buying opportunity coming up, or maybe there's going to be a little bit of a downside, and I don't want to be 100% in the market. Even in safer assets. So people are like kind of putting into like, I mean, let's go look at it. Where are they putting it? Putting it into the dollar again. I mean, that's clear because the dollar's getting a pretty significant bounce here. So, money's starting to flow into other things that people deem safe. Let's see. Yields are going up. So dollar. That's one. I mean, obviously money's in oil right now. I mean, you could see that. That's a big move on oil. So we know where the money's going. It's going into different things. Consumer staples, right? If you're going to put money into stuff, you're going to take it out of like riskier things. You might go into something like, let's go Costco. What's Costco look like? Cost, right? There it is. I mean, look at Costco. Costco's just going up. The whole market's collapsing right now. What's Costco doing? Looking bullish AF. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this thing actually looks strong. It's a monthly chart. Like, it looks poised for continuation, or even though, like, despite all that stuff, it's been running up against, like, counter trend of what everything else has been doing. So, I'm sure it'll have pullbacks, but, like, look. It's a bull flag in my opinion, so proven otherwise. At least on the higher time frames. I mean, it's in an upward structure, And like, what do? We do some weird stuff and then we break out. So people are putting their money in the safe things, consumer staples. It probably will make its way back into gold. Maybe not silver because silver's it's still kind of a riskier play on gold, and people are probably not going to seek too many risky things right now because they're risk off. So, but yeah. Gold. gold. Give some positive news. I've been I've been literally saying all day, like, things are going to bounce. You guys want me to tell you that, like, we're back in a bull market. I'm not going to say that because it's not the truth. I think we have a better shot. There's just too many things that are cracking right now and they're about to break. And the market knows that. And it's showing. It's just showing its hand. And, like, the charts tell things before the news. But, like, look, inflation's bad, dude. Like, we're in this bad situation. Like, shit needs to cool off for a bit. And if that means that the markets need to cool off. And, you know, dude, dips are great, man. Like, you gotta look at it from the glass half full perspective. If you're a true investor and you want to make money, you do not want things to keep going straight up. You're better off doing what most investors do. And you know, smart money. You buy when things are low and you sell when they're high. You take money off the table. And then what do? You increase with compound gains. Every time S&P drops 10, 20%, dude, it is a fucking generational time, like, opportunity to buy. Like, you should be loading up on it. And this is one of the safest assets you can just buy and hold. I mean, it performs over time. But if you, instead of just holding it 10%, right, and doing that, like, 10%, you know, average gain per year that they talk about, like, look, you buy somewhere down here at these lows, right? Maybe at the bottom of this channel. You run it up 30%. Guess what? You just made 30% on whatever your investment was, right? Now you have 30% more money to invest. If you're patient and you wait, price makes its way eventually, let's say, back down to the bottom of this trend. Guess what? You load up again. You know what? You sell when it starts to get back towards the highs again. And you make another 30%. But guess what? Now it was like that, you know what I mean? Like that 30% that you had before, it compounds. And like, you keep doing that, and that's how you grow. You can do it on different time frames and do it in different, like, ways, but, like, dips are fucking awesome, bro. You gotta, like, look at it that way. You don't want to be like, this is shit right here. Like, if you are an investor, this is horrible. Like, you don't want to be in this spot here because you've just been going sideways for so long. You're not making money. Traders are making money, but, like, investors aren't doing shit. Their money's just moving sideways and eventually going to start rolling over. So, like, they need to, like, get out, or smart money gets out and they wait for good opportunities to buy. They look for cycles, like, you know, business cycle. You have the Bitcoin cycle, which is like off the halving, which is the same thing as the business cycle. And you look for seasonality too, as well, like times of the month that, like, there's certain seasons that, like, the markets just do better historically. And this is it's real simple. Like, you know, like Q4 is a good month. Q2 and Q3 historically suck. It's Q4 and Q1 that are the best. Most times in the market, like, you get the best moves at the time, the better, like, the bigger. If it's a bear market, sometimes you'll have less of a, like, you might get little rallies during those months. Maybe not a full blown, like, fucking bull market, but you tend to see the assets perform better. It's an inverted cup pattern on support line. Yeah, right. Give some pot. What is oil doing? Why did the market rally almost 1 hour? Oil is just chopping right now, man. Here's the thing. No one's really going to know 100% what oil is going to do until the next news comes out. But I will give you the bullish and the bearish. Bull case. This is a bull flag. We're putting a higher low, and we're going to attack the highs again, right? Bull flag takes us back up to the high, maybe just slightly higher, maybe. I think I'm just about there, right? If this runs up. And you get that sweep. Maybe either a sweep or a breakout. We don't know. Bear case. Right? This trend never breaks. And we end up losing this low down here. That's probably the bear case here. Because then it opens up a can of worms. Like, if you start to lose these lows, essentially around this 91, 92. Because it opens up that back down to this low at 76. So as long as it's above this, it's going to keep ranging and consolidating until it picks a direction. I will say this. I don't know with the money flow if this thing has got another push back up. If it does, I would be looking more for a lower high because, like, it's just everything is pointing down right now, in my opinion. Money's starting to come out of it. I'd be like, I don't know, but I wouldn't put it like, look, any fucking tweet about something happening or like any news event could send this thing running back up. So that's why I'm like staying out of oil. I haven't traded. I've taken a couple scalps on it, but like I definitely wouldn't be holding over the weekend. Like, God bless you. If you believe in God. Is that money flow indicator paid indicator? No, it's free, dude. You can get it. It's called I have Market Cipher. I got a while back, and I got a lifetime, so I never run out of it. I was like, but I like it, so I'm happy that I paid for it. But there's a free one called Fu Manchu on TradingView, and you can use that. There's other like it's not like exclusively paid. They say that it's a little different if it's better that you get the paid one because it's got like real money flow. But the program we looked at it, the code, it's pretty much coded almost the same, like where they draw the data from. And you need sleep, Gen X. I get what you mean now when you say breakout. Yeah, exactly, dude. You're long on Brent. If you're long from down here, congrats. I mean, it's not bad. Look, there's a bull case and a bear case here. Like, I'm not trying to say either one. That's why I'm staying out of it, because if I don't have an edge on which direction I think it's going, I'm not touching it. And this thing is volatile as shit, and one tweet could take all this, maybe it's bull flagging, but we get one tweet and this thing could just roll over and die. I think it's in the government's favor, in Trump's favor going into the midterms, to not let oil be fucking making new highs. They want that shit low. I think the country as a country, want this thing to come back down. We don't want this thing to skyrocket, because what does that do? It just increases inflation. Everything gets more costly. Go look at, hold on. What the fuck's the company? Ulta. Why do you think Ulta's going down? Oil makes, like shipping costs, that's one, but the oil's made into products. Like makeup uses oil, and like the prices, it affects things like that. It affects certain products that we use. So it makes the cost more. Investors get worried, because the earnings are going to be worse let's say they don't want to pass the cost off to the retailer right away. They may eat some costs, and that's going to eat earnings, and people are not going to want to have their money in a stock like that. As investors, it sucks. It's good for the if that's what they're doing, but there's a lot of reasons. Could also be a supply issue too, but it affects everything, and that's just something you wouldn't even think about. That's why I was using an example. By the way, guys, if you're watching, follow, subscribe, hit that like. We go live 6 days a week, myself and Ben. You can also check us out at tacticaledgetraders.com. We have free courses on there. We are not course sellers. You can also check out the Discord. There's a link inside the website. It says join Discord. You can get verified, make sure you're not a bot, and you can join Discord and hang out with a bunch of real traders, all levels. And if you don't know anything about trading, you're interested, I would highly suggest to check out that website and go through the courses. You just need an email address. He's trying to go lower, but it makes me think it might go up. I brought oil when it was $60. Damn, dude. Good buy, brother. Good job, Kenny. What's an Astro Trader? I don't know what that is. Did I say Astro Trader? I don't think I did. He's like Kramer, do the opposite of what he says. Trump? Yeah. Dude, oh my God, Trump. Dude, when he started tweeting about crypto and did that Trump coin, and they're like, buy this, buy that. Like his fucking, what was it? Not Barron, is Eric Trump or whatever his name is. He was like, buy this, buy that. I would always just short it because I knew it was going down. He was a top signal for a lot of crypto. Yeah, I did look at Tesla early, Serene. I mean, I'll give you the quick rundown on it, but look, it lost that level we talked about, 385. It's coming down to 355 is my guess, 350. If it can hold there and put up, maybe you get a bounce, but that's where I'd be looking for the first area of major support. Otherwise, if it starts to lose that level, remember that level we talked about, all this liquidity back here, this is all open game if it does. So bulls better protect here. But I think there'll be a reaction. Maybe it sleeps a little lower, but I think if you can get like a little, a reclaim, a little bit of support, maybe you get a bounce. Because it has been in a downtrend for quite a bit of time. Or Maybe it just shits the bed. So, but that's the level to watch. Make money. You'd love to learn more about it. Yeah, dude, check out the start by this. I mean, look, if you want to like learn by actually watching TA, then I would say follow and subscribe. We go live 6 days a week. I do live TA. Ben talks a lot about market stuff. He's more insightful about the markets. He's got more time than me. And he's been doing it for a while, and he likes to bring it all together, talk about some of those topics that people don't really touch on when it comes to trading. And you'll learn a lot through there, but you can also check out the website, tacticaledgetraders.com. There's free courses, and check out the Discord. Join the Discord from there. Links are in the description, and if you want to go to the profile page if you're on TikTok. I think it's going lower than that, Kenny. I think it's going down here, brother. Maybe a little lower. Maybe not that low. I think ultimately, this is where I think it's going. And I have like a higher time frame thesis on this. And it doesn't have to play out, but this is where I would definitely buy it. Like you wouldn't have to convince me to buy Tesla. I wouldn't probably have to look at the charts at that point. If it got down to this low here, anywhere near this low at the low 200s, 217, it lines up with this macro trend that started back in 2019. It's got 3 touches on a monthly. It's a fucking really high confluent zone for me. If it hit that monthly low, dude, and even if it swept it and tapped that trend, oh my God, that'd be an entry. I would just, it's a great buying opportunity in my opinion for me. Could it go lower than that? Yeah, but I think that's a great spot to start, loading your bags up. Not financial advice though. And look, it makes sense because why? I mean, if you're just a trend trader, if you just play the liquidity, when you lose a trend, oftentimes you get, you're open. It's open game to get the full sweep of whatever started that. Especially because this is a sweep of liquidity here, right? Play the liquidity game. You took the high, you closed below, and you broke down structure on the weekly. That just says that was the high. This was basically confirmation. So where did the liquidity start, right? When the high got put in here, there was the low that got put in that took the high. Now you're going for the low that got put in there. That's the realistic area. That's why that's a high confluence zone for me. I got a lot of things pointing to that direction. May take some time, but I'm willing to wait for it. But 270 is not a bad area to start loading your bags too, dude. It's in that area. It's not that far. Especially if it does continue to go up the way it's going up. If it just continues to just trend up the way it's trending up, we might see $500, maybe more on the next pump. Like, look at this thing. It's in a larger channel. So the idea is it could get all the way down here and then do this. Get up to $500-$600, maybe higher, depending on when it decides it's going to hit that. If it consolidates longer, it might be a bigger pump. But Tesla is it's a big stock. They've had multiple splits, I think. So it's a highly liquid asset. So I don't think it's going to make big gains like that. Diminishing returns are legit. That's what's up, Make Money. I appreciate the follow. You have a friend who made a couple million the last 5 years. I told her to take profits about 6 weeks ago. Instead, she loaded up on Tesla at 410. Hopefully, didn't take too much of a loss. Hopefully, she cut her losses by now. I mean, shit, that sucks, man. It happens, though, right? Sometimes, dude, having a lot of money, making a lot of money doesn't always make you a good trader, a good investor. Sometimes people get lucky and they hit big. I know a lot of people like that were millionaires and they lost it all. They hit big in crypto early on. They were early adopters and they got in hard. And, they thought because they made one good decision, that turned out to be a great decision. They thought that was going to carry into the rest. And, past performance isn't indicative of future results. That's the truth. You got to stick at it. You got to really be a student of the game and stay with it. SoFi Technologies or Microsoft. I did Microsoft already, so I can do SoFi. Oh, we got to look at Micron. We'll look at Micron next. I keep going off on tangents. I'm just chilling tonight, so I'm having a good time. I'm not really trying to go too hard at looking at these charts because, to be honest with you, we're looking at a lot of stocks that are closed right now. So whatever happens, but it's not going to happen in the next couple days. Maybe Monday, So look, we're at major support right now. I'm just going to just take away everything. Oh, God. There we go. We're at major support, but it looks like we're rolling over. Look, we were there. We were holding it. And we're fighting right now. If we start breaking down below this level at around $17, $16.90, and the next major level is down here at 13. So, and then potentially even down here, down at like $9. So it's got to hold this level if you want to have a chance of like not fucking nuking right now. Your resistances to the upside immediately is that $19 to $20 area where you rejected at multiple times. It was once support, and then when you lost it, it became resistance. If you get back above there, then you can maybe start looking up towards $22, which is the next resistance up. I don't want to go too much higher than that because, you know, it's level by level right now, and this is a daily. So these levels could take weeks to get hit, theoretically. Not necessarily. They don't always have to. They can happen quick, but what are your thoughts on SMCI will recover? I don't know. Let me go look at it, but let me look at MU first. I've been talking about looking at it, and I haven't looked at it. They just had big earnings, and it also kind of set off the tech dump that we saw. This happened the other day, right? And it's significant that you understand these things. And this is one of the things we teach in the Discord and over at tacticaleducators.com. Like understanding how the markets affect each other. Like one aspect of the market can affect the whole thing. It's like you know, it's not always like one thing's gonna set everything off, but like you got these big market leaders, and we had earnings the other day, right? And I don't know exactly what happened to earnings. I didn't care what happened. All I knew is that we were pumping into earnings, and I even said that in the Discord. I said, guys, pay attention. It's breaking out of a previous high, going into earnings. Like that is usually a sign that like this shit is about to fucking nuke. Because what is that to me? That smells trap all over it. My spidey sense starts to tinkle. Like you get this as an investor. If you've been in the markets long enough, you'll start to understand this. You study the charts. Like when you're hitting these higher time frame levels, going into a major event, FOMC, big CPI data, if we're like the markets are waiting for that. Or let's say we're in that couple weeks span, a few like months back, where jobs data was the most important thing we were looking at. Or earnings if it's a particular stock. This shit matters. Like you gotta like pay attention to what the price is doing going into those events. And if you can piece that together, you can be on. I'm not saying to trade it and anticipate what's going to happen, but you'll be prepared because you'll be sidelined waiting for the reaction. And for me, I was like, look, watch this thing, because then once it gains acceptance back into this, which it did, right? And you can look at it and you can see we gained acceptance back below that high. That was your trigger to go short. By my system, that's my system right there. And what else did we do? You guys are going to fucking hate me by the end of this shit. Shoulder, head, right shoulder. And look, the fucking golden, like, it's like, this is literally like my hat trick right here. It was a false breakout retest. Shoulder, head, shoulder, that's another confluence. We broke trend, and guess what? We're putting in that right shoulder on that back test of that trend. Like, what the fuck else do I need to tell me that this thing is going down? Like, excuse my language. That's like me just being a little passionate right now, but that's telling me it's coming down. And like the market's seen that, and like you saw the Qs start to dump, and you saw Nvidia start to dump. Let me go look at SMCI, and everything follows the tech leads it. Look at oh my god. I mean shit. This dumped the day after the earnings on Micron. Like, you see what I mean? Like, there's a pattern here. Like, they're all following each other. Like, if one starts to go, they're like, oh, shit, you know, the whole ship's starting to, like, you know, come down. So, look, this thing's in a downtrend right now. We lost that major level we were talking about on SMCI. Like, we said, look, if this thing breaks down, that was just what I said. Like, it's either going to do this or this when this thing breaks or pop. And it did the first one. It just nuked. And I drew it down where it's going to go. This is the level. I don't think this is really that big of a level, and we clearly didn't get any real fucking reaction there. So this is the target for me. It's down here at that $17 low. So I'd say it's down till it's not for now. Let it prove itself to you. You've been trading stocks since 1984. I'm very impressed with your understanding. It took me decades to get to this point. You're as good as me. Dude, I appreciate that, Kenny. I mean, look, man, I'm learning. Like, I'm still a student myself, dude. I'll be honest with you. I started back in like 2020, a little earlier than that, but like really getting hard into the trading back then around 2021. I started to really invest myself into this. But like I didn't like get there by myself, man. I listened to a lot of people who are better than me, who have had more time in the market. And it's just like a sponge. You absorb what you hear that makes sense. You back test it. You put it, you make sure you make sure you do your due diligence on anything you hear, because you don't just take everything with a grain of salt. You have to always like challenge it a little bit to make sure it's correct or it makes sense. And then you just piece it all together after a while. But if you just think you're like, this is the thing a lot of traders do. And I think Ben, if you're listening, he'll agree with me. Kush probably understands this too, because he's one of the guys who's been around for a while in the group. Ego, man. Ego's a big thing. People think they get a couple wins and they think they're better than the market and they got it figured out. And like the more experienced traders figure out real quick, like over time, that the market will humble even the best of us. And like it'll smack you back down to making you like remember like who's really in charge there. Like you're just a participant, like at the end of the day. And you got to respect the fact that like you can't control the market, you can't predict the market, you just have to react to it. And like I learned that through like just being part of the group I'm in now, Tactical Edge Trading. Like I was a good trader before that, and when I realized that, I became an even better trader, because I started to like stop taking those B grade setups, like you got like, if you just had to like list your setups, right? Like the trades you like to take, and everybody has like a selection, like a playbook they like to draw from. And like, you'll have like a scale, like from C to A. You shouldn't be taking anything lower than a fucking B anyway, but let's just put C in there just for comedy purposes. So look, I used to take B grade setups in my book, and then I was like, you know what? I'm like, if I should stop taking those Bs and only focus on A's, sure, I don't take as many trades, but when I do take a trade, I load the fuck up, because I have a lot of confidence in those trades, and they work out more often than they don't. When I was, taking out those B, like my win ratio went up significantly. I took less trades, but I ended up making more money because I was doing less. And when you do less in the markets, that's something I learned from Ben, by the way. Ben's pretty much the guy who created the Discord, him and Nick. And they created the group. And like that's the thing I learned from them. Less is more, man. I watch Ben take sometimes no trades in a week. Sometimes I'll watch him take one or two, and sometimes I'll watch him take 3, 4, 5, 6, depending on the week. Like whatever, when his system hits and it lines up, he takes it. But like I've watched him also make 6 figures in one trade in a day. So like I know that like what he's doing works. So I started to like kind of take cues from him, because he's on a different level than a lot of us traders. Like some people hit like trading's not like you get profitable and you're just like good. No, like it's like there's levels within levels. Like you get to like break even, then you get to profitable, and then once you get to profitable, it's like there's levels of like how profitable. Can you sharpen up your tools? Can you get better at your entries? Can you get better at holding the trade and not cutting it too early? Can you get tighter stop losses, because just that has to do with the entries thing? Can you like tighten up your risk management or adjust it to make it like really like more like find out little things that you're doing and tweak them by journaling. Like there's a whole thing to it, man. But I agree with you, Kenny. Yeah, you're 100% right. Overtrading is bad. It's all emotional. It's all emotional decisions. Like the truth is, you just tried to fast forward the stream. My bad. Now you're good, dude. That's why I'm just trying to like give knowledge out there. You said SMCI resignation over fraud. Damn, dude. That sucks. Thoughts on meta? Yeah, I can give you meta. But yeah, like, I mean, just that's what we're here for, to talk about this stuff. We do this in the Discord every day. This is literally what we do, talk shop. And a lot of it's the emotional side of it. I know Kenny probably knows what I'm talking about. He's been doing it for a while. So, like, the emotions are the hardest part to master. That's the part that takes fucking time. TA, you can learn that quick, but once money's on the line, once you're paying the bills, and you can't, if you got to take the difference between winning a trade and losing a trade, if it means like, you having to dip into your personal savings to pay the bills next month because you're not profitable because you're on a losing streak, that shit is like emotionally like it'll fuck up your day. Like trading's like the one like you can go to your job, your 9 to 5, right? You'll come home and you could probably forget about 90% of what happened at work that stressed you out, and you can just enjoy your time, right? Trading ain't like that. You can fuck up a trade and that shit'll make food taste bad later that night. Like, I'm not even joking. It'll mess your sleep up. Like, you really have to dial in the emotions and just trust your system and just become a robot. And that shit takes a lot of time. I'm not even there yet. And you're going to feel the impulses, but that's where the discipline comes in. You're always going to feel it to some degree. Just, I think as you become more hardened and calloused in the market through time and experience, eventually those emotions start to feel less and less. You know, you become a hard ass to all the bullshit. But these are the levels, man, on Meta. Like, look, I talked about this trend a while back. Like, this trend established back in 2022. And it's been running up and it's had a great run, right? But we did some things that make me nervous now for this. First thing we did, we put in a high. Money flow coming out. We had bearish divergence and these highs formed on the weekly, right? Didn't like that. Two, what I didn't like is when we hit the trend and came back up, we put in a lower high on the weekly. That was like red flag 2 for me. Like, we can't even break that previous high. It's starting to show the trend weakening. 3, we started to do the distribution pattern I love to talk about, which is like that little shoulder, head and shoulder. That's a sign to me that, like, okay, someone's offloading and like the market's starting to shift. And then when we broke this trend, that was kind of like the deal sealer for me. Now look, is it 100% going to dump from here? No, we still have this low around 577, 578. It's a weekly low. It's to be respected until it breaks. But if this opens, that really is going to seal the deal on like the floodgates of this thing taking back, maybe even back down to like 500, potentially even down to 424. These are the big lows that I see maybe getting swept if we lose this low here around 588. And why? Because that would really like kind of seal it. But this is the low, the last low before we put in the lower high, right? If this low gets taken, that's a weekly market structure shift. You have your high, your low, your lower high, and then if this would be the market structure shift right there. So the expectation is now you're in a weekly downtrend. So those are your levels, man. If you want to get bullish again, you really have to start breaking back in. Look, you have another head and shoulders right there. Fucking see. I told you this shit's like, it's like the Matrix, man. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. So look, the only way to really get bullish on this thing is to start taking out this high, probably, in my opinion, the high around 745 to get bullish on the weekly. To break back up on the daily, you got to get back above 671 to even have like a daily hope. So those are the two levels you got to get back above. And both of those require you getting back above trend as well. So you need to see something like this. Maybe like a break of that, right? And then a break of this to flip bullish again, in my opinion. And it's like, that would like signify like a sweep and a bounce, and then maybe you would think that, hey, we're probably going to come up for these highs here. But that's like, that's very far away. I think that's very, like, at this point, I'd say way, like, chips are to the downside. You started with crypto. Started with crypto in 2021. Yep. Is that rare? Is what rare, K? Crypto, like, trading making you sick? Overtrading is bad as emotional decision. Tell us something we don't know. But Ben Whitfield, you got to remember, man, it's all relative, dude. Like, at the end of the day, something I say may seem like something you know or may seem obvious to one person. But I'm speaking to the guy who started 6 years ago. You get what I'm saying? When I'm saying these things, I'm talking to me 6 years ago. I'm always talking to myself when I began. Things that I'd want to hear. I'm not talking like to try to like one up anybody or try to like say I know more than anyone. It's just more of like, this is shit I wish I knew. And I wish somebody would I wish I could have listened in and hear these things because they may have helped me. Like, not blow fucking tons of accounts to go back up and sweep the highs after head and shoulder pattern. It is rare. It's less likely. Like, everything in trading is a probability game. It's never 100%. Never 100% that a pattern plays out. And even when a pattern does start to break down, like a head and shoulders break his neckline, there's always that chance it's a fake out. They go down, grab liquidity, and they just reverse it. Like, markets can do shit like that and not make sense. But over time, they have proven that, like, these patterns work more often than not. Like, a head and shoulders has more of like a 70% probability of rate of playing out. The higher the time frame, the bigger the move, obviously. But there's also that other 30-something%, maybe 25%. I'm not exactly sure, but it's in that range that it doesn't play out. And then maybe it does some weird shit along the way to trap traders and trick people into, maybe it's because, you got to remember, market makers know that like people trade these patterns, people observe them, and it's a retail looking pattern. Like somebody with the naked eye can see that. It's not hard to identify. If you know what you're looking for, it's easy to identify. But they also know that they know the same levels that we're looking at. Like they have people that are fucking, like way smarter than most of us. I'm not going to say everybody because I don't want to insult anybody. Way smarter than most of us, and who fucking do this for a living, and they have a lot more money at their disposal for resources, and they can pretty much guess, and they can pay for they can pay for the data where retail is stacking liquidity, like where they're buying up, where they're selling, where they're putting their stops. They know these things. Market makers know those things because they're on the books. Like that data is out there, and it's a lot more easily accessible if you have money. If you're an institution, because you can afford to, like, especially in the stock market, you can afford to buy that data. It's not cheap. It's not cheap to get that like order book stuff and get like real time data from these brokerages. It is not cheap. Like you got to pay for that, and it's out of most people's budgets. I mean, unless you got good money. So again, beta's not looking great here. To answer your question, Kay, it's rare, but it can happen. Probability. They're not smarter than you, Vlad. That's what's up, man. Thoughts on AMD? There's always somebody smarter. That's all. I don't know. My guess is if they're working for a fucking multi-billion-dollar company, they got hired as like with a specific job, they're probably they're better than that specific job than I am. And what their job is to look at levels for retail and like to identify traps. Like how to set traps are probably, I don't know if they're smarter, but in that aspect, they probably are. Some people see patterns without drawing. I never opened my geograph in high school, made it A. Yeah, dude. I mean, some people have good memories, man. Like I have good pattern recognition, and it's not just shapes and stuff too. It's about like what I'm seeing in candlesticks and just over time seeing like formations on the charts. And like just kind of sticking that to memory, and eventually you start to see something, and it's like, nah, from what I've seen over the years, like this plays out more often than not this way, and then you start to kind of gain like educated guesses on how price may do. That's why I draw my little LARP lines. They're like reminders of what I thought price was. It's like an idea. It's not tradable. You put it there, right? If you're going to trade it, you trade it off good levels with good entry model, good strategy. But those LARP lines are just like a reminder when I go back to that chart. If it worked out that way, it sticks in my memory. It's like writing something down. It like sticks a little bit better than just hearing it or watching like a teacher present it on like a fucking PowerPoint. If you write it down, it sticks to the memory. Those LARP lines are the equivalent of that to me, because I get to go back and get that refresher. Like, oh, I remember this setup. And I remember what I was thinking now. Okay, and it worked. Or it worked, but it worked a little bit differently than I thought. And then I can like kind of like tweak my thinking a little bit. And then I start to see that and do that over time, and it builds like just a memory bank of like chart patterns. Like I look at my phone right now, I swear to God, I'm like, you would think I'm like a serial killer with a computer. It's only fucking screenshots of charts, patterns, breakout, retests, like predictions, trades, trade ideas. Excuse me. Like shit like that. Because it's like what I'm always like, my mind's always going to. Like I'm seeing these things, and like that's how you gotta almost become obsessed to really like get yourself committed enough to really take the dive to be a trader. Like if you hate being in front of the charts, you hate looking at this shit, and you hate taking the time to chart things out and do your analysis, like trading's not going to be an easy journey for you. Like you're going to fucking have to force yourself to do this. And a lot of it's sitting here and just doing your analysis and learning through repetition and just the boring shit that no one wants to really commit to. So you got to almost become obsessed, because like, look, for me, chess is a fun game, right? Most people could probably relate to this, but it's not so fun and interesting for me that I want to play it for 12 hours a day. And that's what it takes to become one of the best players in the world, right? And you got to do that for years. So like, yeah, I'm not going to be like, I can't commit myself to do it. Do I think I could become good at chess? Yeah, but I'd be fucking forcing myself, and that would be like a grind every day. And I wouldn't want that to like, it would be a rough grind. You got to pick something that you can obsess over, but you also enjoy some aspect of it enough to keep you like happy to keep doing it. And that's how you're going to fucking really commit to something. I don't know. That's just how I think about it. But maybe somebody else thinks differently. You could still be good at trading, but like to get the repetition and the time you need, it's a lot easier if you enjoy it or become obsessed with it. Because you're going to question things, like you're going to be thinking about a setup that you took earlier and why it didn't play out. And that's going to run through your mind, and you're going to question that. And then it's going to force you to go back to back testing on the chart and tweak whatever you did for the next time. And that turns into like good execution, good strategy. Yeah, look, man, you're at a good level right now. You're in that zone, right? There's a low volume gap, or not a low volume gap, like a gap from like the market close. And you're left behind down the 170. And you kind of pierced it, but what you're doing right now on the 4 hour on AMD, you're starting to put a higher low in here. I think the key here is, can you get back above 209, 210? If you can do that, then you got that confirmed shift right on the 4 hour. That would tell me that you're probably going to make a good move up to maybe 227 and potentially a little higher. Sorry, I'm burping a little bit, guys. But yeah, I mean, look, it all starts with that high right there. If you could take that high, then you open up to maybe a little bit higher up. Does it go all the way back up to the highs up here? Potentially, but like I think that's less probable. I think you play it one level at a time. Crack that 209, 210, and then we start looking up towards that 220-ish level. And if you break that, then you start looking up to the highs. Otherwise, your support's right below you, man. You don't want to lose 193. Ultimately, if you start losing look, realistically, like I'd say that's really the low. It's like this 193 here on the 4 hour. You could argue maybe there's wick, but I'm going to say 193 because it like lines up right there. If you lose that low, then you're going to, you're in a downtrend again. And this is nothing more than a bear flag. So, wait, Ben is someone called Duncan from Tactical Edge Legit. He contacted me. No, Serene, Dunky would never try to text you. That's Nick. Look, Ben, myself, and Nick. He goes by Dunky in the Discord. We would never reach out to you first. We would let you know if we were having a conversation in a Discord and you want to private DM. We would let you know. You would get a heads up from us or something. We don't really do that either, but just saying, like that's you would know, or we would tell you in the voice channel, hey, I'm going to DM you. Like, we would make sure you can confirm it's us. Yeah, I would probably report that person. Can I analyze DXY? Do you trade options or stocks? Or just stocks? I trade futures, dude. If it's on a futures market, I'll trade it. I'm not an options trader because it's just a different way of trading, and I didn't really, like, dive too deep into it. Eventually, I'm going to kind of get myself into it, but I just haven't really, like, jumped down that rabbit hole yet. I got to really, really, like, study it and learn it, and have a good understanding of how the market works, like how the options market works, before I start trading live on it. You get what I'm saying? Even though analysis is still the same, the execution and the how to manage the trade and how to play the trade is completely different. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that subscribe, follow. I've been going live here for 2 hours on a Friday night. I better get some likes and subscribes. But also, you'll get notifications when I go live 6 days a week. Also, check out tacticaledgetraders.com. That is our website. We have free courses on there. We're not course sellers. You can also join the Discord and be around real traders, like-minded individuals like myself. This is like our passion. This is what we do for a job. A lot of us are pretty obsessed with this stuff and want to like continually get better at this. Because the end result is financial freedom, and I think a lot of us can relate to that. That's the first time I dropped that. Get Eddie to 4K likes. Yeah, right, dude. That's a lot of likes. I got a lot of hearts, though. I'm not sure what that means. That was confusing me. There are a few texts that show me bullish breakout potential. Which one are you talking about? This one here on AMD? There could be. If we're talking about AMD, Kenny, I mean... Look, man, I'm not always right, dude. I'll be the first to tell you that. Like, I get it wrong too. I have a problem. Just like trading's a probability. You can do everything right. You can, everything can line up and still get the trade wrong, or that trade could still go the opposite direction. I mean, the idea is just to be able to like to read the markets and put yourself in good positions, you know, and manage risk really is the number one rule. A lot of people neglect that. I can analyze DXY, but what do you want to look at? I mean, look, I'll give you the macro. I'm not going to go lower time frame because I think I went over this earlier. Look, take a trend, run that up. That started back in 2007. What was in 2007? What was in 2000? It was you know, it was the fucking last time we had a major recession. Like the fucking housing market crashed. A lot of bad things happened in 2007, 2008, and the Dixie bottomed out and started to run up from there, right? So we've been in an uptrend for many years. Money is finally getting back into the markets, right? Or back into the dollar. But we've also been in the last few years trending down. As the bull market was going up, like think about it like this. Money's going into the dollar, then usually it's leaving what? Risk assets typically. And it's going back into the dollar. People are, you know, getting risk off. When it's going down, the opposite. People were putting on more risk. They're putting their dollar to work, whether it's in bonds, futures markets, whether it's fucking, whatever it is, you know, stocks, commodities, crypto, fucking orange juice. Doesn't matter. It's going in there. Right now, we're starting to hit that trend, and we're putting in a little bit of a bottom on a higher time frame. Look, our low sits around that 96, and that trend, the major low around 95. From what I can see on the monthly, this thing already swept that low. So what's that telling me? Well, we're coming up to this high, which we did. And right now, we're flirting with either a breakout or we're going to continue to do what we're doing. And that's just ranging. But if I had to guess, given that I just saw the S&P and the Nasdaq starting to break down and gold is selling off and money's leaving pretty much everything. Altcoins have been dead for like fucking 6 months already, almost a year. The money's kind of going back into the dollar. And that tells you people are getting risk off. So I'd imagine once we finally get back above this level here, all right, simple TA here. Just think of this as a range. Once we get back into this range and gain acceptance, probably coming back up to this high maybe, or this high, right? Just got to get back above. And that's bad for risk on assets. So the big level to watch here is about 100. It's a psychological number. But if we start getting back above that, man, 110, 112, 115 could come pretty quickly. And look, if this thing is in an uptrend on a higher time frame, well, what's the target? Well, I mean, I don't know if we'll ever get back up to 121, but that'd be crazy, wouldn't it? But I mean, that's a big target up there. Maybe we do. We're definitely not getting back up here. But like that's essentially what's happening. But ultimately, like this thing is poised. If you look at it on even a higher time frame, and I'm not trying to get super like bearish here, but like if you look at it on a higher time frame, this looks like a bear flag. Like you know how they say assets eventually collapse, right? Like if this is a bear flag, that's gonna get real bloody for the dollar. Like the decoupling, or not the decoupling, the devaluation of the dollar is what they call it. So people just don't trust in it as much, and people are putting their money into different things now. But yeah, dude, no problem with that one. Ben just keeps increasing the number. Oh, I get what you're saying now. XRP. Say last time, can you please analyze? Okay, I got you, man. I'll do some Solana for you now. Just got to ask once, dude. You ask once, I'll get to it if I can. If I see it. I mean, look, dude. We're in the same spot we were yesterday. Like, there's not much has changed in crypto. That's the level we're up against resistance, right? You are bear flagging out on Sol. If you can break this level and get back above this $97, $96 level, you have a shot to get back up to 116. There's a shot because it's a low volume gap. There's also another point of resistance here on the higher time frames, like the daily, right around 106. So if you break, you could shoot up here, and you could potentially shoot up here if it gets a little more bullish. Those are my like levels to the upside, I think, potential. But I mean, I don't know. right now we're below resistance. And all I see is this. It's really hard to get my gaze off this. Like, all I can see is the bear flag. So, like, it's got to really prove itself to get bullish here. Otherwise, maybe we get another pop back up into this $97 area. If we can reject there, I'll be looking for macro shorts. That's just me. And maybe we do pop. But the low to watch right now is at 86, man. Don't want to lose 86. You lose 86, I think you're probably below the trend at that point, and you're probably coming back down here for these lows at 66, potentially lower. So it's not looking great on anything right now, crypto. Doesn't mean we can't get a little bit of more of a push up, but I wouldn't like go betting the farm on it because it could be short-lived. Just like this little pump right here was short-lived before a bigger leg down. I don't think we're done yet. I think we'll be done when everybody fucking hates their life with crypto, in the crypto space. Yeah, can we get 1K likes? That's a lot of likes, dude. Yeah, hit that like, hit that subscribe, follow. Been going for 2 hours now. Wow. Wall Street Money Machine by Wade Cook is a great, easy read book that actually enjoyable. I haven't read that one. I've got a couple books on the shelf that I recommend here and there. There's some good ones out there. There's always good stuff, though, but I'll check that out, man. Appreciate that. Ben pimping Eddie out. Dude, Ben is pimping me out. I feel cheap now, guys. K throwing me under the bus, though, right there. Can I get 1K, like $1,000? Yeah, dude. Ah, fuck. Do you think America will lose the petroleum dollar? I don't really know, man. I don't have an opinion on that one. I try to speak on things I understand. I never really looked into that. I'd be lying to you if I said I knew. Let me go look at BATL real quick. Poof! What did I draw? Hold on. Let me look at my LARP lines first. I told you. I chewed that a while back. When was that? Damn, that was fucking week ago, bro. Oh, man. It went a little bit lower, though. That's funny. It went a little lower, but, like, it's bouncing off that level right now. Saying, like, I did that. Yeah, I got you, man. Sorry, I'm reading things backly. Wait, actually, no, man. I'm not giving you $1,000, dude. I'm a trader, dude. I fucking money is like everything. Money's like my job, like capital preservation, man. It's number one rule of trading. Don't lose money, and that means giving it out to people. Unless you're Mr. Beast. But look, it was a bear flag, and the bear flag was going to break down at the end of the day. So what you're looking at right now on this thing, I mean, enough of I told you so shit. So look, the trend's still down, and it's going to be down until it's not, right? So that's what you're looking at. Maybe you get a pop back into trend. Right now, it doesn't look too bullish, but maybe you are bull flagging out, but I doubt it here. I would say, look, watch this range low. Watch the range high in the short term. Lines up with this trend too. So maybe you do get a retest of this 114 if you can hold above, 1156. Get a retest up here. I wouldn't get too much more bullish after this though, because like, look, dude, you've been in a downtrend for quite a bit of time. If you break this, that's signaling something a little bit bigger to the upside. But look, you drag this over, man. That's a big level. You get what I'm saying? Like that was. So you're going up into major resistance right now. So just be mindful if you get up into that $14, $15 level, potentially even up to 16. It could get that's a big area to get rejected. If you start to lose this low here around, I'd say 1150, you're probably coming back for the lows around 9. But that's BATL. Gold and silver goes down long term. I don't know. I think it goes up, dude. I think gold goes up. I think silver might be done for a while. But I think eventually, look, the mindset behind gold is like a very think of it like this. Gold's a very emotional fucking asset, right? It's not like the stock market. It's not like crypto's emotional too, but in a different way. Gold's like, if it feels a certain way, it's going to react differently, like in a different, like if people are looking for, if gold is a safe haven asset or people start to deem it as a safe haven asset, it goes up against the market. But if it's like right now where people are perceiving it as a risk on asset because it's been going up for so long and people are scared they're going to lose profits or going to take an L or they're getting squeezed on margin, it becomes a risk on asset and it reacts the same way as the rest of the market. So you really have to kind of like read the room with gold if you're going to trade gold. That's the one thing about it. But what I will say is at some point gold will become the safe haven again, because when people really start to get out of risk on, like really get risk off, and like people start to panic, yeah, they're going to put money in the dollar, but people are still going to seek that hedge against inflation because inflation's going up. It's always going to be a problem, and people are going to try to figure something out that's not going to decrease that much. Like the value of your dollar is just going to keep decreasing, unfortunately. So like gold will eventually be looked at as a safe haven again, and it will get a bounce. Love that you said read the room. That'll miss most people. Yeah. You're 100%. You really have to, man. You got to know that. You got to know the environment, man, when you're trading. Like Ben knows this better than anybody. Like, you know, like the way the market's perceiving risk is the way or a particular asset is the way you need to trade it. And you have to adjust your trading strategy to it. Like you don't change the way you enter and stuff, but you can trade the risk you put on, or whether you're going to take a trade during certain, you know, whether you're even going to attempt to trade it. That's truth too. Sometimes you just got to walk away. Let me go look at XLU. I got like one more in me, guys, and I think I'm going to jump because I actually want to go play some video games. I'm feeling like it's Friday night, you know what I mean? I don't really do too much on a Friday, but when I was younger, I did. I mean, XLU is just straight up, dude. State Street Utility Select Sector. What is this? I mean, the trend's up, dude. I mean, no matter how do you look at it, right? What's it doing? It's putting in higher highs and higher lows the entire way up, right? And until you lose this low at about $41, $42, like on the weekly, you're poised up. Now, there are probably some bearish signs, which I probably can get to right now. I'm going to get to. So you do got some bearish divergence on the weekly, right? That's the first thing when I start to see like a slightly higher high, I look for divergence because that sometimes is just telling me maybe we got a bigger pullback coming. The first target would be this trend. Second target, I wouldn't want to lose. Definitely don't want to lose this 41, 42 because then you, at that point, have for sure lost the trend, and then it could signal lower prices. 35 would be a target in the, you know, if we lost that trend, I would be thinking maybe down here will be a nice area. There was a lot of consolidation before a nice rally up. Lots of stops, probably a lot of people to get squeezed out right here. And then look, if it really like it's been trending up for a long time, if it really want to come all the way back down, I mean, shit, it could go all the way back down to 28, but that's pretty far away. So I would say like this is a good area too to watch. I kind of missed this earlier. So anywhere from 38 down to 35, the previous high could serve as support, like on a higher time frame. So you could look from this zone in general, but I think this is the juicier area if we do lose trend. Otherwise, it's just going to keep doing this, right? Until it stops. So trend is up until it's not. It confirms a breakdown here. That's a trend, early sign of a trend reversal. And if you put in a lower high, then bam. You know, that's first zone, and then second zone's down here. Terribly crooked line, by the way. You can tell I'm getting tired. My hand dexterity is gone, guys. Silver technical. Can you do a Swedish stock called Jesus? I don't know what silver. I did silver in the beginning, dude. I can look at silver again, but I'm going to look at this Swedish stock first, and then I'm going to probably jump after I do silver. Which one am I looking at? A, B, class C. There's a bunch of different classes, man. You're going to have to guide me on this one. Serene. You're probably right about that, Spackleville. B. Okay. This one? This feels wrong. No, that's not right. That can't be right. Suico. Maybe this is it? Yeah, this is it. There we go. I must have grabbed the wrong one. Anyway. Oof. All right. So let's just start. I'll talk about the swing highs. So here's your 2020 high. what'd you do? You came back up, you deviated out, and you closed in below, right? That's not looking great. This could be like a macro high for a bit, or it could just be the first pass, and we're looking to put in a higher low. We're still undecided right now, but I think we could build some more confluence on what it's going to do. I don't like the fact that I put in the little head and shoulders pattern up here, back tested. That's a bigger drop. So we lost this major level right here. So this is right now for me major resistance at 150. What also I don't like, and this is more for the bears. This is good for bears, bad for bulls. We lost that level. That was the last like high we put in before that nice impulse up in that test, right? So what levels does that leave me with below? Well, the more obvious levels are down here. Down to $90, that area, like from 113 down to like 91. But there could be a potential bounce, and I'm not putting a lot of weight on this one right here because this is a weekly breakout high. There could potentially be a bounce there at 127, but I think that's the first place I would look, but I wouldn't put too much weight on it. I think this is the juicier zone to maybe grab some liquidity. Ultimately, like, look, man, I think we might have lost the trend that was here. We're like right there at that trend. So maybe this does play out, but it's not an established trend yet for me because there's only 2 touches. I would want to see 3 before an established. So that's just more of like a thought in the back. Not really putting too much weight on that, but that's the levels. You got 136 as resistance. Above that is 150, and below you got about 127, potentially down into this 110 to $91 area. Do you think we'll recover in Q4? I don't know. I don't know, Serene. I'll just say this. As long as the trend's down, play the trend. Right now, the trend looks down. You had a sweep of the high, slight deviation, probably. And this is the monthly, by the way. And we probably have some type of divergence. So, like right now, as long as it's trending down, just continue to expect that's going to keep happening until it doesn't. But those are the first levels I would probably watch for a reaction. And if you get a reaction there, then maybe you buy. But I think you got to look more into seasonality of it. And I don't want to speak about a Swedish stock because I'm not sure how their business cycle works if they follow a similar business cycle as us. Maybe monetary policy may be different over there. I'm not sure. So I don't want to speak on something I'm not too sure on. I'm going to look at silver and then I'm going to jump, guys. I've been going for about 2 hours and 15 minutes. But before I do that, I would appreciate if you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe, follow. You'll get notifications when we go live 6 days a week. Also, check us out, tacticaleducators.com. If anything I said today resonated with you, if you're interested, if it piqued a little bit of curiosity, go check us out. We have free courses, and you can really learn more in depth about half the stupid shit I'm saying about liquidity and SFPs and swing highs, swing lows, and why price action and market structure. All that stuff will be like a lot more clear if you go look at those courses, if it's not clear now, and you'll have a better understanding of how the market moves and why it moves. And if you're interested, you could also check out our Discord, tacticaleducators.com. Go there, click the link at the top that says join Discord, and you can be part of an awesome trading community. We trade live together, we learn together, we grow together, we sharpen tools to become better traders. Iron sharpens iron, end of the day. And that's what we're doing there. We have all levels of traders, full-time traders to beginners. Shit, don't get me started on fucking Bobby. Bobby's my boy, though. It's good stuff. Nah, he didn't know how to even use TradingView a few months back, man. Now he's profitable. Like, he literally learned candlesticks and how to take a trade and what the hell any of this shit meant. And he went from being the beginner, and and now Ben turned him into, under Ben's mentorship, one-on-one mentorship. He's making money, man. I mean, I don't know if he's trading with a lot of money yet, but he's making more than he's losing, and he's gathering data on his trading and building and getting those repetitions in, because it doesn't happen overnight. You're not gonna learn it in a few months. You gotta really build that reps in. Do the reps in the charts to start recognizing the patterns and really get really good at it. And he's getting there, but he's dialed in. He's got good discipline. He knows when not to take trades. And when he does make mistakes, he journals them and he's learning from it. That's shit that people have been trading for years and failing still yet to figure out. And he's doing it. So I said, don't let me get started on him. And I just went on a rant. So that's the level, man. It's coming down to 64. We lost the bear flag here, right? We broke down. I said if we lost that $80 level on this flag, we're going to probably nuke. Lower high, shoulder, head, shoulder, complex shoulder, head, shoulder, right? And we're breaking down. Guess what the measured move is? Take a guess. Hold on. It's magic, right? It's just fucking, it's simple, but that's TA. It's so dumb, but it fucking works. It's like telling somebody, like, you know, you give somebody like a magic trick and you show it to them and you're like, oh my God, that's so cool. How did you do it? And then you figure out the secret behind it and you're like, that's fucking stupid. That's trading. But yeah, man, that's why I think we're headed 64. And if we lose 64, I think this is your next level. And ultimately, I do think we see silver back down here at 54. And I'd probably be looking to pick some up down there myself. But yeah, bear flag down to 64. We see what happens there. Maybe we get a bounce. It's a weekly level. Potential. So, but that is a lower high on the higher time frame. So I expect a new low to get put into. Anyways, guys, dude, I did SPY like 4 times. It's already tonight. I'm not going over it again. I'm sorry. If you want to go over to the YouTube, this is recorded, and you can actually you can go back and look at the SPY chart I talked about in like the first 5 minutes of the live. But I appreciate you guys for coming out and hanging out with me on a Friday night. It's pretty awesome to like have a decent amount of viewers and just engagement in the chat. So I just want to let y'all know that. I do appreciate it. And I'll be live again on Sunday about 9:30 p.m. So I'll catch you guys then. Later, man. I appreciate y'all.